Hello everyone. I am Andrew Dorn, also known as the 12th Gun here on YouTube. Today is a very different video. You're going to get this about a week, maybe more so, from the time that I'm filming this. I'm going to be filming segments of this video all throughout the week because I am doing a game jam. Specifically, at the time of this recording, I signed up for a game jam called the Tea Cafe Game Jam, put on by a streamer that I know pretty well, Lady Goggles. She put on this game jam after I was like, hey, maybe we would do this. It'd be kind of fun. So we have a week to make a game. The theme is called Refreshing. The theme is called Refreshing. And I want to make a Pokemon clone kind of game. The problem with that is I have to use RPG Maker XP. I've been using VX Ace for my games, and yeah, this is interesting. I'm gonna definitely see what I can do. I definitely want to push on through. So I think I'm gonna take a few days to figure out exactly what I'm gonna try and do with this, because the plugin I'm using is the Pokemon Essentials version 17.2, released in 2017. Nintendo has taken this down, but I got a few friends who have the plugin, so they sent it to me. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna actually try and sit down, figure out the different kinds of fake mon or whatever that I want to design, and then I'll go in and replace all the sprites so that way I'm not using the Pokemon sprites, and then maybe go in and change some character sprites as well. But because I've never touched RPG Maker XP before, it was definitely very overwhelming, just the different changes. It was familiar enough, but there's layers and there's a whole lot of other things, and so I'm like, okay, so I already, just from context, I could figure out what certain things did, but I'm definitely going to need to watch a tutorial or two. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. So I'm just going to record bits, just like little updates about the progress about me making this game in this game jam, and I have a week to do this. So, yay. Alright, so this is now day 3. I didn't film anything yesterday because I was out of commission. The pandemic, the stress of the pandemic really messed me up yesterday, and so I just kind of took a sick day. But today I am back in action. So I've got RPG Maker open, I've got some work done there. I even was sketching out some ideas on this paper. I've got some just some rough math up there, but I was thinking about how to keep the player within the confines of the map without having to come up with a string of little event squares at the bottom. It's you can't go down there. And so I was thinking about it. I was like, how could I realistically keep the player within the realm of the map without having some invisible barrier. And that's when I remembered that you can put walls up. So, what I've gone and done, let me just zoom in a little bit, is I have taken, back when, let's scroll back all the way. So when it was just this starting area, right here, I took one of these textures and just made a wall. And then I took this texture right here, which is the top of a cliff's edge, grabbed the paint bucket tool, and just poured the whole screen in, and managed to do it that way, which is really nice. So I've decided to call this area the Valley of Canyons, or the Canyon Maze or whatever. And so that's kind of what I've been working on right now. If I open up this tab, so that way I can show these are all encounter tiles, and I haven't put them in yet, but I'm thinking this first area, up until the house, is all there's no enemies, just to kind of get the character used to the controls and used to the idea of having a thirst, which is a common event, which I think I'm going to open up Filmora screen and just record this, like, my entire desktop, so that way this can be a lot easier to show off in the future. But so I have this common event called Thirst. It runs throughout the entire course of the game. So basically, it checks to see if you have Thirst. If you do not, then the game waits. It waits a total of 999 frame chunks, and that equates to about a minute, give or take. And so after about a minute, then it gives the character Thirst, and then a pop-up comes up that says you are thirsty. And then and then it checks again after another after the loop is done, and it's like, hey, are they thirsty? If they are, then it goes into the next part where it's like, do they have bad thirst? In that case, then it does another 4 weight block, and then it afflicts bad thirst, and then it says your thirst has intensified. And there is a way to get rid of this. The only downside of thirst is that your stats get cut down. They actually get cut down significantly. So it's the only bad thing, but it's like quite a severe bad thing. But you can find some water. It's very rare. But when you do, it removes both bad thirst and regular thirst. And I'm thinking about putting in a new kind of like drink that just removes like just regular bad thirst or just regular thirst, depending. But yeah, so this is like, I'm just flying off the seat of my pants. There's no real planning going on. I'm not sure if I'm going to put in quests or if I'm going to... I know at the very least I might want to incorporate a couple of different dungeons, just so that way it's like you can book it directly to the end, or you can explore a bit. So that's kind of what I want to open up a little bit. Again, I don't know if I'm going to have actual quests per se, but who knows. So, in fact, I think, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but this is a map of a fictional world that I made. And I was gonna write a book in this world, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. And so when I was trying to think of a setting for this game, I was like, oh, what if I use this? So for the game is actually set in this little area called Macaro, and you're somewhere within the middle of Macaro, and Macaro is like a big desert country right up in the wastelands. It's believed that Macaro used to be all of this area, but then the wastelands just got too toxic for like any sort of life, so it moved up here, or the border shrunk to here. So you're trying to get all the way up in the Kodar, and so I'm trying to design like a series of canyons to get you from here to here. And then that's going to be it for the game. I did enable sprint, so that way you can actually sprint to the end if you want, or you can take your time and actually explore the region and see what all there is to offer. I have a few different enemies like put into the system, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that's kind of my big update in the morning. If I make significant progress, then I'll make another entry. Alright, it is now day 4? Yeah, day 4. So yesterday, I was working on the overworld, and I got that done. So, this is the whole path. You start down here, and then you work your way all the way up to here. And what's kind of funny is yesterday I was playtesting to see if you just booked it and like tried to find the path up, how long it would take you. And I actually got lost. I went up here the first time, and then the second time I got lost was I got up here and I actually went down into here, which has nothing, and then I was like, oh wait, I need to take this top path, so I went up and I got there. And also I changed the ending area a little bit, so let's just do this little number. So it used to be I used the tent texture to like make a large tent, but then I realized I can go over here, and I thought if I imported a the exterior tile set B into slot D, it wouldn't work, but it actually works really well. So this house and the sign and a few other things I'll show you, or maybe just one other thing, they actually still work really well, which is great. I guess it helps that, you know, they have transparent backgrounds, so, you know, they should work in theory. And then as I was like going through, I realized that I didn't have a store, and I figured it'd be kind of nice, you know, because you're fighting enemies, the enemies drop gold, that you should at least be able to like buy stuff with it. So I made this little store right here, and this is what it looks like. I've got, because I'm not buying any additional like item packs or whatever for RPG Maker, I was like, well, I kind of want a robot merchant because of like where it's set. So I decided to use this like Dark Knight character, which I've used in one other project. So, okay, that's set to. Here we go. So the idea is that it's like a robot, like a fighting robot that got reprogrammed to be a merchant bot. And the thing is, like, it's damaged, so like it will, like, if you try to ask it about its origins, it'll just freeze up and then shut down, and then when it boots up, it gurgles its words a bit. And so I was like, you know, like, very, you know, stereotypical like broken robot stuff. But it doesn't do it all the time, because I feel like, you know, it shouldn't be 100% broken. And then on top of that, I've just been going in and doing detailing, putting in the poison swamp texture, some more pits, some cracks in the walls and on the floor, just to like try to do some level of detailing. So, been working on that. And other than that, I'm not 100% sure what else. Oh, I've also I put in these little signs because, or right here, because up until this point, there have been like no enemies, and so you know, just like a little like warning, like, hey, once you get past like this area, combat starts now. So it's like after like this point, there's hardly any like safe areas. Like this over here, this abandoned shack. If I open up this, okay, I did. Okay, originally this had these encounter tiles, but I guess I removed them. So basically, if there's a house, it's protected, or like a cave entrance, it's protected. I don't really have like an in-universe reason for that, other than, you know, for the houses. Also, it's not done yet. In fact, I only got these areas done. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the reasoning is, but I'll make a reason. So that's been my big thing. I've just been slowly doing additional buildings here and there. I'm not sure if I want 4 dungeons. I think yesterday I mentioned wanting to have 4 dungeons, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure at this point. I do like how the map is coming along. Like, it looks really nice even at like, you know, 1/8 view. And so like the fact that it's just all coming together is very nice, and I really like how it's going. I have some skeleton textures, I think, yeah. So this skeleton texture, where's my mouse? Here it is. So like all of this except for like those 3. So like these right here, I've just like been dropping them around just like as little accents. I don't want to overdo it. So yeah, just trying to put in detailing there to kind of make the world feel a bit more real without going overboard. But yeah, I think today my goal will be trying to make at least 1 dungeon if I can. That would actually be really nice. I'm not sure how big the dungeon is. I might have to like sit back and like kind of plan it all out. But yeah, so that is, I think that's it for now. So yeah. Alright, it is day 4 of the game jam. Is it day 4? Let's see, it started Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Monday was day 4. Today is Tuesday? God, I don't even know. Yeah, today's Tuesday, so today is day 5, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. Time doesn't make sense anymore. So I was going to do screen recording, but it takes too long to process the footage, so I've decided to keep going with this. So a few things have changed since the last time I recorded an entry. I've been working on detailing. I'm not 100% sure if I showed this part. I'm going to show it again. But I reworked the ending area. I used an actual tent texture, put up some flags and some crates just to give it a more camp-like feel. And then also, I haven't done anything with this camp other than make it look abandoned. So I'm going to work on that today. And then, on top of that, made this area right here that's kind of like an abandoned mine shaft kind of deal where it's like there's a mine back there but it's inaccessible. And then the store, which I think I showed off. If I go house number 4, the store. Yeah, so I've got a little merchant here. So there's that. And then also I've been working on the dungeon. It's been really hard to combine the futuristic tile set and the regular tile set just because of how certain sets need to be on certain tabs in order to work properly. But I've been making it work. And then also, speaking of making things work, I had, there are 3 of these altars in total. If I zoom out, there's one right here, there's one all the way over there, and then there's one, whoops, there's one right there, but it doesn't actually have an orb on it, it's just like the 4 pillars, and that's about it. And the idea with these 2 little areas is that, where? Oh gosh, I hate zooming in and out. And the idea, you can probably tell, but I'm going to turn on the event screen. So double click here, and you can actually hit the action button, and it'll teleport you somewhere else. And the reason why I'm doing like teleports and all that stuff is because I want to give the player options for traversing through this huge map, and it's like it's a maze. Like that's really crazy, and I've made a note to like not add any more branching paths because I think this is enough, especially for something like this. But I have been in the process of making dungeons, so I need to finish that dungeon, that this one right here, this like ancient like vessel or something. So I got to work on that, and then also maybe populate it with enemies and that sort of fun stuff. And then also I was thinking about somewhere around here, like maybe over here or down here, putting another cave that links up over here or over here, so then that way that is another way that the player can use to get across the map. Just, you know, just a little like quality of life thing, so that way they don't have to like try and traverse through the canyons to get jumped by like 1,000 bandits. I have been working on making some safe spots, basically anywhere that there is a one of those like spots where it's, you know, nice and open. I've been trying to make it so that there are no bandits in that area, so it's kind of like a rest stop kind of deal. But yeah, so that is what I've been working on so far, and I want to see how much of that I can actually get done. So that is the goal for today, and also I've been trying to figure out like ways to keep me motivated, and then I remembered that I actually have the Pokemon Ruby Sapphire Super Music Collection, so that's great. You probably couldn't see it too well. I'm using a camera, like pointing a camera at a computer screen, so it's not going to work too well. But I'm going to be listening to that, just kind of jamming out and working on finishing this map, finishing a couple of dungeons, and that should be it. And then the next like few days is just going to be me going in and trying to put in some little details. So I forgot to make an entry last night, but today is day 6? Yeah, today is day 6 of the Game Jam. Well, I guess for me it's the end, because I actually finished my game. It's pretty crazy, because this is the first video game project I actually finished, which is just insane. I'm still trying to process it right now, because it's just like, what the heck? But yeah, so it's done. And I submitted it, and I'm actually I think I'm the first person to submit. Yeah, I was the very first person. Someone just submitted theirs today. So, that's pretty crazy. It is available on itch.io. I'll have a link to the game in the description of the video. You can get it for free, or you can leave a donation if you want. You don't have to, because I marked it as free. I did try to upload it to my Etsy store, and just like see if I could, upload a game to the Etsy store. You can't. It's a 20 megabyte limit, so couldn't really do that, which is a bit unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? So right now, though, the best way to get it is from the game, or not the Game Jam, but from the itch.io page. And I don't know, maybe I'll see about possibly uploading it to the website and making a little page on the website about it. Not really 100% sure, but yeah. So I think that's it. I think my Game Jam journey is over. All that's left is the live stream, which will be happening this Friday. Lady Goggles will be streaming all of the games, so that's gonna be really cool. I don't know what order they're gonna be played in. I'm not sure if it's just gonna be like down the list, or if it's gonna be like playing the first one, like starting with the games that were first submitted and then going to the ones that were submitted last, just maybe to potentially give people some more time to submit their games or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that's pretty crazy that I actually finished a video game. I did finish one game before, back in high school. It was called To Wage War. It was like a card game kind of thing. That's up on my Etsy store, but it's not the best looking card game. And I tried working on like the final like release candidate version, but one thing led to another, and it just like completely stalled. So that probably will never get a full version, but who knows? Maybe something will change. But that's gonna be it. This Game Jam is over, and I'll record another little thing on Friday, to let you guys know what the results are. So today is officially the last day of the Game Jam. In fact, I was watching the page for the countdown because it's like part of me wanted to record Super Mario Galaxy, but I also was like, part of me was like, I want to be there for when the Game Jam officially ends. So yeah, that was kind of neat. So in a total there were 5 entries. We have two RPG Maker games. So this one over here, and then of course my entry were both done RPG Maker. Two people made sort of like tabletop looking games, and then one person made a game in HTML5, which is pretty cool. I honestly I keep forgetting that like with HTML5 and Godot you can make some pretty nice looking games, and it was like a game that looked like a Game Boy game, which was like really cool. I really like that. But yeah, so it's all over. I'm really excited to see what the organizer thinks of all of the games that have been submitted. She said that there was going to be a stream later today, so I am excited about that. And honestly, I've been bitten by the freaking game development bug, and so I've been looking into like different ways to make other sorts of games, and I ended up there was one application um, a while back that I found called Crocodile 3D, which was like a tile based like 3D map making program, and I was like, oh man, I want to do that, but like it costs like $20 to get a version that you can like export object files from, and I was doing some digging around because I went ahead and like installed that application onto my computer for the future, and I found this application here, SpryTile, which is interesting. It's basically tile making for Blender. It's like open source and free and all that stuff. So that's really neat. That might give me a reason to like finally sit down and learn Blender, or at least learn the controls so I can go in and use this plugin in Blender, and then make some like old school looking like 3D games kind of deal. I have been for a while. There was an iOS game that I played on an old, I think it was like my iPhone 4. It was called Undercroft, and I absolutely loved that game. Unfortunately, after I think it was iOS 7 came out, the game like couldn't be played on that OS, and the developer never updated it, which is really unfortunate. But I mean, if they didn't feel up to it, they didn't feel up to it, which is still a shame because I loved that game to death. It was amazing. Um, so I guess I'll just have to make like my own uh, old school looking first person dungeon crawler or what have you. Um, and I just had a thought. I was like, it seems like a lot of games that I've made have been games that I want to play, and I think that's honestly that's not a bad thing, because in the end it's like you made something that you're passionate about, and it's fun. So there's that, and then also I found this other uh, program called TIC80, and it's really neat because it's an in-browser like sort of like mock computer kind of deal, and you can actually program small games, which is just really fascinating. Like I got to play. So this is their official website. I'll have links to all the stuff that I found. But it's really cool. Like, people have made RPGs. Someone made a Mario Bros. Knockoff. Someone made a first-person shooter. It's so crazy. Like, this is an isometric game. It's just so many different things. People are so talented. Like, holy crap. Like, you give people just like something that doesn't seem very powerful, and they'll make something truly, truly amazing. So, yeah. It's just crazy. But yeah, so I think my next step might be trying to learn Unity, and then also either Blender with that tile plugin or Crocodile 3D, and kind of make some old school games. They'll probably be really short in the beginning, but then like slowly become something more. I'm not entirely sure, but I definitely will probably be making more games in the future, and that'll be kind of fun. I did learn that I couldn't upload my Game Jam entry onto Etsy and sell it through Etsy because it is like 200 megabytes, and the upper limit is apparently 20. So And I thought about it and I was like, I'm not sure if I could even, like, if there were, like, resources that I could cut out to make it smaller. I'm not 100% sure. But, it is what it is. And that was the Game Jam, and I'm really excited. This won't be counting, like, the video essay series. It's just, like, a thing that I did that I wanted to share. So I'll have a link to the different resources I looked at. So like TIC80 and Crocodile 3D, Sprytile, and then also a link to the Game Jam page and also specifically to my game. That's all going to be in the description. Links galore. So yeah.